Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's going on? Monday. Holla, and pop your collar, you scallywags, nutmeggers, and conversationalists. Let's get ready to roll, because it's Monday on Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. And had a wonderful weekend. We semi-surprised Roseanne with the deliverance of her baby boy. Ellis is in town. He's with us for a week. He got in on Sunday. Well, no, sorry. When did he get in? Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night. And he's staying until Sunday when we get him an Amtrak train back. He took the bus all the way up from Virginia. 3 buses so he could see his mama. Came up to see his mama. So I picked him up and kind of surprised his mother, but she figured it out in no time. I'll tell you a quick story that is going to sound like a long story. About a year and a half ago, we were going to take him off of Life 360, which a lot of you have. I'm assuming a lot of you have this. But she had asked him, it's like, hey, you're 18. I don't want to be, over on top of you. And on Life 360, we've noticed some things on him. When he drives, sometimes he can be, let's just say, he accelerates in the driver's seat a lot. He's young. He's like a teenager, and he speeds. In some cases, he's exceeding 90 miles per hour. Yeah, it ain't good. And I get on his case about it a lot. And I'm very worried for him. But you know how teenagers are, especially around that age. I know what I'm doing. Okay, you break your mother's heart. But anyway, so she felt guilty, monitoring him on Life 360. So about a year and a half, she said, listen, we're about to renew our subscription with that. We're thinking about taking you off because the only people who use it are Reese and myself. So, he said, no, Mom, keep me on. I kind of like you keeping track of me. And she was like, oh, wow, knowing Roseanne, that made her feel like she's still Mom, she's still important. He was throwing her one, just saying, hey, Mom, I know it's important to you, but, you're very cautious about me and the decisions I make. Of course, Mom, now keep me on there. So that made her feel so good and so loved. And then, of course, he tries to surprise his mother by showing up, and she looks at Life 360 because she does, and she goes, that's interesting. What's the boy doing in Philadelphia? And that's when she knew, and it was before he could arrive to surprise her, and she looks me in the face, and she goes, the boy's on his way up for Mother's Day, isn't he? And I go, yeah, you got me. So, yeah, she found out, but she was still glad to see him, and he really missed his mom and wanted to be with her on Mother's Day, so he'll be with us all week. And he's a good kid, a good egg. For those of you who've met him, know he's a good kid. And he'll be here in the studio one time this week. I think she's trying to figure out stuff to do with him today. And Adam 12 has been inundating her with everything. Take him to go see yard goats. Take him to go to the amusement park. Take him here. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. That's right. And keep sending them to Roseanne. Please do not send them to me. I got work to do. And today, speaking of work to do, this week is going to be a lot of stuff that we need to cover. Some stuff, it's going to make you a little uncomfortable. We are covering Bright Path tomorrow. And tonight I'll be talking to, I believe it's a former employee of Bright Path who yesterday ended up in the car of Sam the Man on the Street, our impromptu reporter, who had a conversation with this young lady who was on her way to the Avon Police Department. We'll talk to her today. I will tell you the details of that conversation tomorrow. So that story is going places we never thought it would. And it is going to say a lot about the state of Connecticut when it comes to the welfare of children. And like I said, it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, but we have to do the story because the story's local. And if the mainstream news media is not going to cover it, we're not going to complain. We're going to cover it. So we'll get into that. Now, speaking of the mainstream media, my opening monologue today, which I put a video out there saying that was going to make people upset. People were going to take issue with the things that I'm going to say today. But unlike the mainstream news media, I am not going to cut off the comments to what you believe or what you think about my comments. You have the opportunity to do that by calling up this telephone number right here to this radio station, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Again, this is my opinion. This is my point of view. And as I look above this, looking down 30,000 feet, gathering the information and looking at it in an objective way. I have no emotion involved in this. I have only one objective, and that is to win, for conservatives to win, for conservatism to win, to use said conservatives, should they be chosen, to beat the incumbent Ned Lamont. That is my focus. I've got nothing personal with any one of these candidates. I may like them. I think they're great, funny, witty, and personable. But my objective is to win. And if it means I have to throw my support behind someone who isn't your favorite, I'm sorry. As we say in Queens, you got to put H on your chest and handle it. So before I say the crux or the most important part of this opening monologue, which I will save at the end, let's go over it. The convention is in a few days. And everyone I've had a conversation with, state senators, political wonks, media types, have told me that the decision has been made, that the delegates have already decided who is going to be the Republican nominee to run against Ned Lamont. Sure, there will be other candidates who will make the 15% threshold, and there will be a primary. But when the delegates make their decision, all the momentum is going to be behind that candidate. We know it. There is no argument. That is the way we do things here. I understand that, and I make no bones about it. I am not complaining, and I am not trying to change the way things are done. However, I am going to state the obvious. Isn't it time for something different? To coin a phrase. Isn't it? Because that's what you have been telling me since I got here. That's what you told me. You said it's always the same, and if it doesn't change now, we are in the crapper. You said a more colorful word, but I can't say it on radio. But that's what you said to me. You told me something's got to give. Momentum must change. Things must be done differently. We need to get rid of this person and bring in this person. We need to rally the troops, and we need to execute a plan. We have to embrace MAGA. We have to embrace conservatism. Everyone is saying what we need to do. You've all had ideas, and you've expressed them on this very program for a little more than 2 years. You've expressed them everywhere. When I came in, I was filling in. And when I was here, for 1 whole year and now going on a second. I've listened to you. Sometimes I've ignored you. But I've always taken you into consideration. And by the way, I only ignore you when you're off the rails. And I've been bold enough to tell you when you are. Everyone does not have the answers, but some of you do. We all can't be perfect. And I'm okay with that. But if there's one overarching theme in all of this is it's time for something different. So, who is going to take me up on that challenge? I've got one question for one person. Erin, will you take me up on that challenge? Is it time for something different? It isn't about scandal. It isn't about party politics. It is not about witch hunts. It is not about whether or not Ned Lamont or Bobby Garcia or Democrats overall in the state are trying to uproot the campaign. These, regardless of what you or anyone else says, are self-inflicted. And we have to be honest about that. All of us. Even those of us who support Erin Stewart. You are not at fault for supporting the person you wish to win. But do not take this personally. You have to do what's right. And you have to do what's right for the party, not the party apparatchiks, not for those people. I'm not talking about Ben Proto. I'm not talking about Bob Sanson. I'm not even talking about Ryan Fazio or Betsy McCoy. No, it is about conservatism. Listen to what the point is that I'm trying to make here. Listen very closely. I've read all the comments online when all of the people have reported them, from TNH to WFSB to every other channel or network that's out there. And you know what the supporters of Erin Stewart are saying? Hey, why aren't you going after Ned Lamont? Fair point. But what does that mean about this campaign? Why are we becoming that which we despise? We need to run a clean campaign. Yes? If we're only going to turn inward and start protecting things that we normally would object to the other side doing, are we no better? We're not perfect. And I'm not expecting anyone to be perfect. But it is not a far stretch to say, are we better? I'd rather have fewer skeletons in the closet than more, or to be on par with what I am trying to defeat. Lamont is not an upstanding candidate. And Lord knows if anybody does their homework, they're going to find a lot of skeletons in his closet. You don't need the media to do that work for you. Independent journalists can do just the same. The folks over at Inside Investigator, Connecticut Inside Investigator, guys like Mark Fitch, guys like Mike Ortiz, these guys are out there, are independent journalists who can do the work. And they need to start doing it. The Connecticut Sentinel, we have a way of understanding how to get to the dirt or the nitty-gritty. But guess what we don't want? We don't want more of it. And we don't want anything that mirrors that what we are trying to defeat in November. We don't want it. So we have to make a decision. Do we really want something different? Or are we going to measure the cup of mess that each side has and start living in a world of the lesser of two evils? Or are we going to start making strong decisions about who we are and what we stand for? Again, is it time for something different? You guys want to win, perhaps maybe not doing it the same way we've always done it. Maybe trying new ways to win. I'm giving you opportunity. I've been on this show trying to tell you about ways that you can win, about incorporating ways to win, about punching back, about standing firm on what you believe in, and never compromising your principles in order to win. and do that in a way in which you can reach out to the other side and say, I know you don't agree with what I believe in, but here's why it's important to you. Not that it's something that's adversarial to you, is that why I'm doing it is an advantage for you. You don't agree with me politically? Fine, but let me tell you why I'm doing it and why I think it benefits you. I told you to reach out to the other side. When I first got here, you guys said, what am I doing that for? And I told you what? In order for me to understand them, I had to communicate with them. And what happened? We are the fastest growing show here in Connecticut. And why? Because the other side started listening in. Because when it was time for something different, I delivered it. So, Republicans, conservatives, moderate Republicans, is it time for something different? Or is it just a saying? It shouldn't be our undoing. When the convention comes, it could very well be. Many people are telling me, and again, I'm just a radio host. If you listen to half of these folks, I'm just some guy on the radio. But when the convention comes and the delegates have made their decisions, they are tethering you to what they say is the standard bearer of this party. Remember, if that happens, you have to sell it to every nutmegger in the state. You have to ask yourself if you can do that. And when you do you feel good about that? That's to the delegates. There will be a primary. I guarantee there will be one. The question is whether or not the delegates and the voters will be on the same page, because that is a united front. If they are in an opposition of each other, we might as well say, welcome to your third term, Ned Lamont. I have more on this when we come back. Don't go anywhere. It's Reese on the Radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Again, next half hour, after the 3 o'clock hour, you are invited to call up this program. I don't care who you are or what you have to say. If you are in complete opposition of what I have to say, of course it's warranted. This is, again, my opinion, my view, looking at this, again, from 30,000 feet. And as a conservative and as a consultant, which I've done quite successfully, I pose the question, is it indeed time for something different? Because that's what is at stake here. Are we something different? And I'm not making an argument about who leaked this or who it's coming from. I don't care if it's Ned Lamont or Bobby Garcia. I don't. This stuff, and indeed, if it's coming from a Democrat, this is supposed to be whacked away literally like a fly swatter. Can anyone say that's the case here? Because that's what it should be. It should be able to just be dismissed. Nothing. But they're not. Tell me how it is. I don't hear that from anyone. All I hear is the deflection. What about Lamont? When did we become these children? We're not. Be an adult. And my point is, not just to the delegates and not just to conservatives all around the state, we have to look at this practically. And are you practical? Do you want to settle scores? Is that what this is about? Is this about frustration? Is this about anger? Or is this about winning? Is this about winning because your message is better? Is this about winning because we can govern better? Is this about winning because winning is at stake? That if we continue to give a permission slip to this governor and to the Democrat supermajority, if there is no pushback, we are not treating it as dire as it truly is. Does everybody want to play party politics with this? Fine. If that's the case, if that's the message you guys are going to give me, I'll change the direction of this program for it. and just go, all right, fine. Let's just walk in every day and complain. You guys don't want change. You want to moan. I don't do that. I'm sorry. It's just not me. It's not my DNA. I'm not blaming this person or that person. I act just the way I am. And you know that because I've been here for 7 months, and that's exactly what I done. I walked out of this studio and I got on the ground. I'm in the streets every day, or as they say in the hood, I'm in these streets, and you know it. So this isn't about all that other nonsense. I talk it like I walk it, as they say in the hood. Isn't it a Three Amigos, or what do they know, Amigos, whatever that is? Yeah, walk it like I talk it, whatever. That's the name of it. But the point is that I've got the street cred, ladies and gentlemen. Do you? Do the delegates have the street cred? I don't think so. And that's, again, not bashing them. I get what this is all about. Everyone keeps telling me what it's all about. Reese, this is the way it's done. And then saying time for something different. That's what we do now. We contradict ourselves within an instant. That's what we do. No. No. Absolutely not. I know you're listening and I know you care. So let's think about this. Let's walk this through. Okay? It's not like it's the only candidate here. But I want to give you a scenario. It's convention day. The status quo is the status quo. And if we are to consider what we're being told, that this is a witch hunt, let's take that into consideration. It is a witch hunt. It is Garcia trying to find or get the goods on the front runner. And every day, according to the news media, who is also an active partner in destroying the GOP frontrunner, finds more stuff, digs up more dirt. More things come to play after the convention. When everyone has made their decision, this is our standard bearer. And then more stuff comes out. Oh, that's it. We're done for. And the rest of the people who have to go out there and vote in November look at the party and just go, here we go again. I guess I'm staying home. Okay. Now what? Let's just wait another 4 years and see if we can do it again. We'll keep the same old people in power. We'll keep the same old people running the party. We'll make the same old decisions we did before. And then if I'm here or not, you'll say to me, Reese, it's just the way that things are done. And then we walk in here again and everybody complains by calling the telephone number. All while saying it's time for something different. Well, I want to live by that. I want to be a change agent. The only way that's going to get done is if we start saying what's obvious. We start telling the truth. Isn't that who we are? We are the common sense, tell the truth party, aren't we? Aren't we the people who deal with the hard truths? Aren't we the adults in the room? Aren't we the ones who make the hard decisions? Aren't we the ones who sacrifice? Yes, we are. But if we're all going to resort to start playing the Democrats' game of blaming, of not taking personal responsibility, then we're no better. Dare I say, no different. I want to see a difference in this state. But it's not enough for me to talk about it. It's got to be enough for me to influence you. It's got to be enough for us to influence each other to do the right thing. So, let me propose something. Whoever it is who has the power to do so, grab our candidates up right now. Look them square in the face and say, what else is out there? We better be making the best decision to win this race, or else we are going to waste tens of millions of dollars on nothing. It is about time that the people who vote for our party have confidence in it. They believe in it so much that they are breaking out of their homes to get down to polling places, that wild horses couldn't keep them away from our candidate to make sure that they save this state and save their lives. Or we just stick with the status quo and you can tell me, shut up, what do I know? See, I know that I can galvanize enough people to say, hell yeah, let's get this done. There are some people who are never going to change, but guess what? I never depended on those folks anyway. I know who they are, and what I learned in my years of sobriety, that acceptance is the answer. I accept those who will not change, and accept the change that I can. So, what about it? What are you going to do? I'm talking to you, delegates. What are you going to do at the convention? Are you going to represent the people? Are you going to represent yourselves? Is this about your friendships? Or is this about unseating the incumbent? You have a mission. I'm trying to give you a mission statement. I hope it resonates. I hope you care about the people in this state, not just Republicans, not just conservatives, and not just moderates, all of them, to deliver the change that they all deserve. And that is the home that they can stay in, taxes that give them breathing room, homes that they can afford, food that they can afford, a lifestyle that they can afford, and a state that invites people who deserve to be here. This isn't about the status quo. This isn't about your friends. This isn't about your buddies in Hartford. This is about all of them. Every mom and pop, every John Q. and Jane Q. Public. It is about them. And when I say every one of them, I'm talking about Democrat, leftist, Republican, conservative. That's what it's about. People talk a good game about revolution, but I'm not talking about the one that involves bloodshed. I'm talking about the one that breeds togetherness, survival, camaraderie. Hey, prosperity. That we take care of our kids, we take care of our elderly, and everybody in between can do what needs to be done to do both. I'm going to be watching that convention, and I'm going to be watching that from 30,000 feet too. And so will everybody. So you have to ask yourself, is it indeed time for something different? We're going to know. And that decision that you make is either going to make or break conservatives and maybe even the electorate. You choose. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I sometimes like to call this guy my conscience in a weird way. Simsbury Joe is on the line. What's up, buddy? Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute, Joe. I didn't turn your mic on. There you go. What's up, buddy?
Oh, boy. What a weekend, huh? And probably more to come.
Yeah.
So I have some of my opinions. I wrote something out on your Substack.
I saw.
But I'm going to take it a slightly different direction right now to answer the question that you were posing. So for the last 3+ years, all we have heard in this state is we need a woman. We need a woman to be governor. Mm-hmm. And the investment in Erin, I believe, is not because she was so awesome in New Britain, because there are lots of issues with the way that she governed in New Britain, and it doesn't matter that she got elected multiple times if the people really didn't understand what was going on, under the covers. The investment in her is because she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there were people sitting there now saying, "Oh, that's going too far, Joe."
Yeah, it's sexist.
Well,
yeah,
It was her who, after she lost to Stefanowski at the last convention,
mm-hmm.
went out and said it was because she's a woman.
Right.
So if you're a delegate in this state right now, even before the convention, you don't want to be in a situation where you say, "Oh yeah, we had this woman running, and we hope the women in our town don't hate us because we decided to support a woman." So we do have a lot of dim light bulbs that I am very saddened to say have come out here that don't have the ability to look at the seriousness of what she did and separate themselves or separate her from the fact that she really should be dropping out of this race right now.
I think that you're right on. You're right there at the edge. But let me put it this way: the whole dropping out thing has got to be a conversation that Erin has to have, one, with her staff, and two, has to have with Ben Proto. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't have to come with a whole bunch of pomp and circumstance, if you will. Ben Proto is the head of the Connecticut GOP. This is a conversation that I know that he is contemplating himself, and I know the so-called damage control that's working behind the scenes, because that's what you do. This is not me, so forecasting what's happening. I know it's happening. That behind-the-scenes damage control is going on to whether or not she's still viable. Is this still harmful? Is more stuff coming? That's just template stuff that happens in a campaign when it's hit this hard right before a convention. So that's what's happening. But Ben Proto, who, again, is also kind of under the microscope, Joe. Why is he under the microscope? If he continues to sort of say, or let's just say figuratively put his thumb on the scale and say, I'm going to still back her, instead of having a serious conversation and then reporting to the rest of the folks, or even us publicly, by saying, we had a conversation, we think this is the worst of it, and I still think she's a viable candidate. If he doesn't have that discussion, then everyone's going to say what I expect them to say. Screw it. We can deal with another 4 years of Lamont.
Well, with regards to the question that you're asking people to call in and chime in on,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to just flat out say that if it was Ryan Fazio who had this information come out, and there is more information that is coming out, I won't take away other people's thunder. But if it was Ryan, it'd be out right now.
Yes.
And that brings me back to the fact that we're so invested in this state, and the conversations I've had with certain individuals on social media that are pure conservative Republicans, and they think it's a witch hunt. They don't care what the article says. They don't care about the pictures of the receipts. They don't care about the pictures of her proving certain things. That, to me, is so troubling, because now we're in a situation where we may look at our values, sacrifice our values, because it's a woman candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a male candidate, they would be forced to be out right
Which
now.
Again it goes right back to the point that you're making, right? It's like all of that, common sense. We're the truth tellers. We're conservatives, and we're nothing like the Democrats. This is flying right in the face of everything that we push back against for the last 10 years. And again, playing the silly party politics or identity politics for that matter. This isn't about that. And those who think that it is, maybe they're just, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what they are, but I don't want to name call. It's gotten to that point where I just think, let's just be true to who we are, if indeed that is who we are. But I got to take a break, Joe. I love you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate your thoughts on this.
Thank you very much.
You got it. and I'll get to some more in the next half hour. But like I said, if you want to call in, you want to chime in on this, please do. If you think I got it wrong, chime in. If you want to make the argument that Joe's making here, saying, but we need a woman, fine, make that argument. This is my opinion. If you want to push back on it, you can. All right, stand by. I want to deal with one more aspect of this before we get into other subject matter, because we got plenty of stuff to talk about today. It's Reese on the radio. News is up next with John Silva in the WTIC newsroom.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Getting to your phone calls in just a minute, but I'm going to ask this question. So according to this report, and I think that Mike Cirilli, who I saw on Thursday, a young guy, is doing a lot of political work for WTNH, did this sort of very long report on these purchases on the city's P card, which estimate to about $20,000 to $23,000 a year in a matter of 10 years. The part about this that I'm looking at that's important in all of this, and as a response, and I know that Erin Stewart's camp is listening to me, but again, like I said, this is about the facts, not about who brought them to bear, who released them. That's not an issue. When somebody comes after you, and trust me, I know, you stand on both feet, go right to the cameras, and you don't explain, you tell. And I look at a reporter right in the eye and I go, this is why I know you're sloppy. This is why I know you're underhanded. This is how I know you're bought. And I break the whole thing down when they come in my face. Oh, you think you know what you're doing, what you're reporting. Oh, you don't think that what you're doing is biased? Good. Let's go over this, that, and the third. And I start questioning the reporter. Did you look at this? Here, did you look at this? Is this evidence been made aware to you? You make them do it. And also, you have your team filming it as well, like Trump does. Sorry to bring him up, but that's why we love the guy. He brings his own crew, makes sure that he, remember the Leslie Stahl thing, right? How he forced them to show the whole interview. Why? Because he's got a bigger audience, and he put it online and said, this is the stuff they hid from you. It puts Leslie Stahl on notice and embarrasses her. By the way, is she still embarrassed? Yes, she is. Remember, she said, we have no way to substantiate the Hunter Biden laptop. That turned out to be true, right? Leslie Stahl is a clown now. That's how you do it. If they got nothing on you, that's what you do. That's what you do. So, back to my point. When you see this Mike Cirilli report, you go right back to the candidate and you say, it's real simple. Okay, fine. It may have been short-sighted. 10 years worth of it, okay, $20,000 a year, all right, whatever. I'll give you that. Okay? How is it paid back? Was it ever paid back? Do you think it should be paid back? Will it ever be paid? Whatever the case is, just answer that. Just answer that. If indeed it was what it was, explain that. That's it. Credibility restored. It is that simple. And then I get to shut up, and I go, nope, my bad, took the L. You know what? Should have totally given it. But that should have been done first and foremost. What is it? Was it strategic to put it out Saturday night and then to be on Mother's Day when no one's around and nobody can defend it? Yeah, fine. But with all due respect, I'd have taken the opportunity. I would have looked right in my wife's face and I said, hey, happy Mother's Day. Mwah, got to go do a press conference. Want to come? That's what I would have done. Why? Why would I have done that? Because it's important. Because it's important. And as I try to explain this, and trust me, when I say I do this every day, I have people who come to me all the time. Reese, how do I do this? Reese, how do I deal with that? How do I combat this? I go, here's what you do. You come up front. And I said it here to Erin. I said the same thing to Lori, what was her name? Gina Laurie. What did I say to her? I said, if the media is the one who is promoting your narrative, you are not. If the media is telling your story without you, you are not telling your story. They will tell your story for you. Because what do they turn around and do? They tell you, your press people will go, no, don't respond. Be quiet. Keep it to yourself. Just hash it out in court. Even if you win in court, guess what happens? The news media never reports on it. They're making a snippet. When they're coming down on you, it's front page. It's 1,700 words. They're annihilating you. And then when you're completely exonerated and the whole thing was a joke, it's 3 sentences. Yeah, bad, got that wrong. We just had another case where a news organization won a Pulitzer of a fake story. The New York Times with the last one with the Russia nonsense. They are patting themselves on the back while they create the narrative that then becomes the facts. And if you don't do something about it, again, they are the facts. Just like Robert Wall said, when the myth is better than the truth, the myth lives. That's how that works. What was it? Who shot Liberty Valance? I think is where he got it from. When the myth, when the myth is, and I'm paraphrasing here, when the myth destroys the truth, print the myth. I got to get the exact quote. I have here somewhere. I'm spitballing here. I got so much stuff on my mind. I'm just trying to get it all out. But you guys get my point. If what's being printed, if what's being reported is nonsense, get out in front of it. Go to every one of them. Hey, here's why this is a lie. Here's why that's not a lie. This is why this is the truth. Yes, I did this here. No, I did not do that there. And you barnstorm. Guess what? Those people are dying for you to come out there and talk to them. But somebody's got the strategy to just go, no, don't worry about it. It'll just go away. No, we got it on lock. Let it fester. Sure. Go ahead. That's never worked. Never. And trust me, I worked in this game. PR. Okay? I'm not some gumshoe, some nonsense guy who's out here screaming. I've worked for everybody, and I'm telling you, I worked the scandal for one of the biggest R&B legends known to man. You know her. I've talked about it right here. Woman was involved in a scandal. I solved it in 15 minutes. Story went away. 15 minutes. Not that it would have ended her career, but it was just bad PR. I had it done in 15 minutes. I hadn't started I couldn't have been on the job for a day because you confront them. You confront the media. When they're printing the story, when they are writing the story, when they are filming the story, if you don't get in their face, they will print the story they have. Because it isn't about being truthful. It's about being first. Let's get to the phones. Francis is up first. What are you doing, Francis?
Oh, hey, Reese, listen to you. On this kerfuffle that came out this weekend, people got to make up their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
But having been in the legislature briefly, it's pretty much SOP that they get, like as a representative, got $4,500 a year to spend on incidentals.
Okay.
Did not have to file receipts. It's not like on a credit card.
Right. Is that like a stipend of sorts? Is that what that is? Is it some sort of stipend?
Yeah, they call it a stipend, but it's basically for incidentals. You know, you're meeting with constituents, you get 2 big pizzas, coffees.
Right.
I got a tour of the Witch's Dungeon. They were giving it to me gratis. I still put money in the kitty.
Right.
For them.
Okay.
And mayors, you're getting the same thing, but they get the credit card.
Right.
So whether or not Erin Stewart, and I'm not defending her spending.
Right.
People got to make up their own mind.
You're giving an understanding of what may have happened.
What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see if this is, and it's going to, and nobody's like, you spend it, and it's like, okay, you're not really paying attention 6 weeks later, as long as you stay within the bounds.
Right. Okay.
But the way to understand, is she, is this corrupt or is this not corrupt? This is, is she being frugal with the amount or not? Is if you are comparing her to other mayors. And that's what the current didn't do.
Okay.
They're not looking at Bronin in Hartford. They didn't look at Ellicott in New Haven. Definitely not looking at gammon.
So they didn't make this about this is a known issue that mayors have had around the state of using that P card for personal use. They made it an isolated Erin Stewart issue, which in essence puts a spotlight solely on her. Is that your determination here?
Yes.
Okay.
And if it were serious, I mean, if they were going after corruption, they'd be looking, is she out of bounds compared to the other mayoral executives in the state?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, the governor has it. I mean, it is par for the course in politics. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it.
Okay. But look at the amount of money over the 10 years. I don't think that supports your comment. I mean, what you're saying about the $4,500 stipend.
No, but I was just a state rep.
Okay.
So it's basically 4.5 times.
Okay.
What I would get. But I'm just a state rep. I'm not an executive. I'm not having the kind of constant meetings and constant events,
right,
et cetera. And I'm part-time. She's full-time.
Well, okay, so let's consider that. Are we seeing anything that suggests that that's what happened? And did any of the reports suggest that this was her stipend being used at $20,000 in 10 years?
They're not getting into that. They're leaving all of that out.
Then who should be the person who should make that evident?
Well, what basically, if they were doing real journalism, they would be looking at across the board.
No, I get that. I'm not making a distinction here. What I'm asking is, if indeed it is what you're saying, that this $20,000 was rightfully used and she wasn't doing anything nefarious, who would it be left to if the media, as my point was, the media is painting it this way? What should the campaign be doing?
The campaign should be going back through it, everything, and it's going to take, obviously would take them a little bit of time.
Right.
I mean, they dropped, this is under the rule of, you drop it Friday night, Saturday morning, because nobody can respond to it till Monday.
Yeah, and my first deal on Monday is to say what you're saying, that this was allotted money that she was able to use. There's nothing nefarious, and here's exactly why. That would be the statement, yes?
But it's going to, I would assume they're going back through, and I don't know. I would assume they're going through, okay, how can we connect the dots of we spent this on, 8 years ago, what exactly was it spent on?
Okay.
And get the timelines correct. Because if she comes out and makes a statement, and she's off on anything, then they're coming back to hammer her. And
exactly.
I'll give you an example. Dennis House asked her about helping taxpayers.
Yeah, I think the argument was whether or not she had taken something for waiving the taxes.
But if you look at the interview, he used the word help in all the preliminary in the report before the interview.
Correct.
It's bribe.
Right. Right. And exactly what my point was and why I had it out with them in the first place was that they said that they had asked her about bribes, but the package showed whether or not someone had ever asked them to waive, like you telling somebody or a cop, please don't give me a parking ticket. But they did have audio that said, aren't these essentially bribes? And she says all the time. So again, didn't do her any favors by answering in that way. No, but they're basically, she's the top dog, so they're going after her. Because I'm going to take a couple other calls, Francis. Because there's no offense to you. I just want to get to some others. But let me say this: never give you can't give anybody enough rope to hang you. You know what I mean? It's like this is where the problem lies. This is like you cannot leave this stuff sitting out there for someone to use against you. And then even if they do, you don't have, and I don't care about whether or not it was on Mother's Day. Everybody else was working on over the weekend because they were working diligently to write these stories and to put it in their newsroom. And they didn't take a day off to attack her or to smear her, if that's indeed what they did, nor should she take a day off to exonerate herself. That's the way I'm looking at it. Because, like I said, I'd have looked at my family and said, sorry, they're coming to get me, and I'm going to fight back. But let me get to some other people. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate the time. Let's go to Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, what's up?
So I totally disagree with former Rep Cooley.
Okay.
New Britain has issued P cards to dozens of employees, according to all the reports since June of 2016, and they were to obtain essential items. Mm-hmm. And the rules prohibit the use of cards for any non-business, non-essential purpose, is what we're being told.
Right.
So, and these items were put under the office supply line.
Right.
So, and to his point that she's the front runner, there's no proof that she's the front runner.
No, there's no polling that suggests that. I hear that all the time. And the only polling I can find so far was the internal polling that came out in February of this year. And it was a polling of 300 people in an internal poll.
Right.
I haven't seen anything else.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the bottom line is, even if someone wants to try to justify these expenses, I'm sure the taxpayer would love to have $500 dinners on their birthday, spend for private clubs, but we can't afford that. Mm-hmm. And so if this is the kind of spending she's going to do as a mayor of a small city, what is she going to do when she has billions of dollars, at her fingertips? I just disagree with everybody's analysis, and it just hurts the down ticket. If she stays on, it hurts the down ticket. How are we going to go after Lamont and his crew if we have corruption within our own party? If we can't call out corruption in our own party, then we've got more problems than one.
And I think that's the case. Is in essence we have to have the opportunity to call the Lamont campaign on who they are and everything that I would even go so far as to say that. If we are to say that the news media has covered up for, from Costas to Doug McCrory to every bit of the corruption that has happened and the horrible legislation that has taken place, that has got to be the focus. But if we can if we're pointing the finger and we got 4 pointing back at ourselves, we are not there's no winnable campaign.
I agree with you.
That.
I agree with you 100%, and I wish Republicans would start looking at it that way. I just can't. It's inexcusable, and I don't understand how anyone can turn the other cheek and look the other way. They tried to say the Hartford Courant's biased, and I agree.
They are
to some degree. They are absolutely, but you know what? The same reporter called out Costas, like you mentioned, and. Chancellor Chang, we can keep going on. The same reporter who wrote the article about Erin wrote about that, malfeasance as well. So, this is just, it's just.
I know exactly. I think there's a little bit of, sort of like, I don't know, team support or team buffering that's going on here, but that's the same case. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got it. Let's go to Tony before we go to break. How you doing, Tony?
Good, buddy. Long time no talk, but
no problem.
I want to give you 4 quick facts, super quick, buddy. You are truthful, honest, sincere, and factual. No matter how bad it hurts as a black American, you know what the hell you're damn talking about.
Thank you, sir.
Second, people need to understand that. I want them to remember that and absorb it in. 2, to appease the people based on emotions. And then third, I want to say, as we all know, that mainstream media is controlled by the Democrat Party, which is 90% of the news, the newspapers, and social media. It's all a propaganda. It's a by design agenda to push their lying agenda so they stay in power. And then lastly, I like to add in, if you heard anything about like the Lone Star tick coming up here to Connecticut and all that.
I did hear about that.
The ticks getting dropped off in farmlands and boxes with the Lone Star tick that makes you allergic to meat. Bill Gates wants a lab-created meat, or he wants you to turn to...
Okay, nothing against... I'm just going off the rails. I'm trying to get some other people in here now. My apologies. All right, Ken, stay on the line. Ryan, also stay on the line. Sam the Man is also on the line. I'll get to them in the next break. Stand by for me because a lot of this we're going into. I want to read with Craig. Thank you, Craig, for clearing it up. I'm shooting from the hip, so I totally couldn't remember the line. The line from Who Shot Liberty Valance was, when the legend becomes fact, print the legend. That's the quote I was trying to remember, and thank you for that. And I was just watching. I had Roseanne watch that series that Robert Wall did on HBO. We were driving from someplace, and I played that for her. But yeah, that's all this is. When we're dealing with the news media, they are getting the story out there. Remember that video that Denzel Washington said? He was at a red carpet event talking about the news media. And he said the news media doesn't care about the truth. They care about being first. And that's what these guys are going on. You know, some of them do their homework, some of them don't. And, you know, if you know it isn't factual, you should not be doing damage control. You should be doing truth control. That's just my view. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the radio.
Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me make sure that I read this statement from the Erin Stewart campaign. It says, Republican gubernatorial candidate and former New Britain mayor Erin Stewart today released the following statement. Quote, "They're throwing everything they have at me because they know I am the one Republican who can beat Ned Lamont in November. The timing of these attacks is no coincidence. The moment public polling showed Lamont under 50% and 50%, the Democrat machine, their allies in New Britain City Hall, and our Republican opponents all went into hyperdrive. Here are the facts. Expenditures by the mayor's office were budgeted for, submitted, and subject to annual audit during my 12 years delivering results in a deep blue city, going from a $30 million deficit to a $34 million surplus. Meanwhile, Lamont's own wealth has exploded while insiders around him cash in on state contracts, but they want voters focused on office makeup and working lunches. And instead of talking about why voters should support him, Ryan Fazio decided to spend Mother's Day attacking this conservative mother of two with a proven record of fighting for taxpayers. Maybe that's to distract from his own liberal record of expanding Connecticut's woke DEI policies and providing taxpayer-financed tuition assistance to illegal immigrants. I'm not afraid of a bare-knuckle political fight. Republicans need a real warrior to win this election in November, and I am that warrior," end quote. There you have it. The number's 860-522-9842. You can respond to what you just heard. I'll read it again later. Let's go to Ryan in Coventry. Hello, Ryan.
Yeah, I guess that statement is a good excuse for your $500 birthday dinners then, right? That statement's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not. Again, I've done PR for a long time. I can say a little more than 10 years. I don't like any word of it.
Oh, it's crazy. Some of the comments, it makes you start to wonder, like, okay, maybe you give a little slack, but then when they put this kind of stuff out as the response, it just, I don't know, it's like baffling almost, and she's going to double down on this, which is wild. I think it's clear more than ever that she's got to get out. She's going to end up hurting everything, guaranteed. For me, I got this a union transparency lawsuit right now in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
And Senator Fishburne, Senator Sampson, they've been helping me with it. I've sent them letters. They've all the GOP. That's kind of why I switched parties in the first place. They've made a big deal about the culture of corruption in Connecticut, and they seem like they've been pushing towards, trying to actually put fixes in for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Erin's just making the same excuses that the Democrats would when they're covering up their own dirt. This is not what we need at all.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Ryan meant Fishbein, by the way. Yeah, Craig Fishbein. Yes, no problem. I know I say it all the time when I talk to my wife and I was like, hey, Fishbein just followed my post. I totally do it. It's like when you hear that name, you immediately go Fishbein. I don't know why, but we just do. So, yeah.
It's wild. I don't know. This thing's a mess. And, I don't know. This John Healy guy that put out the contact, I think, that'll be my next phone call, I think, just to see where his head's at. This guy worked as the chief of staff for the GOP, and this is his response. This response just tells you everything you need to know. That's pretty much all I got on it.
Nope. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much, Ryan. We'll get some more. Let's go to Fred in Middletown, Poet Laureate. Hello, sir.
Hey, well, I just want to drop a kind of cliche here.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's just the most obvious thing in the world that Ben picked her. She's the anointed one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes down with her. She just brings her shovel with her every time she opens her mouth, man. She can't say anything. I think she's going off the rails. People do tend to be going crazy these days, I mean, and she's just lost it, man.
Hear me. Let me ask you a question, Fred. And this is, again, I'm only listening to the tone of your voice. Mm-hmm. There's a degree I can hear of it. Tell me if I'm wrong. I doubt it. But it almost sounds like you're frustrated that she hasn't been able to come up with a cohesive answer that separates herself from the scandal, if you will.
No, not at all. I'm not frustrated.
Okay.
See, normally, like, when the fix is in, it all works, and then
right.
Maybe later it comes out. But like that movie Pulp Fiction where the guy didn't go with the fix,
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, it's supposed to be a cakewalk, but, like, you just never know. And there's, and people are on to Proto. Everyone's on to him, and she's just too ridiculous. So, yeah, no, she's just all over the place, all loose ends. And she's like, she reminds me of Hillary Clinton. It's my term. It's my turn. Yeah, it's my turn. And the evidence against her, I mean, I basically know what I hear on the radio and from Mark from West Hartford.
Mm.
But the evidence against her just lays out, man. It just rolls out, And then she won't show up, you know? So
I would say, you know what, and again, this is me looking, again, from 30,000 feet. Mm-hmm. If I can read a part of the statement that I think, and I know John listens to the show, so this is an objective view of what I'm about to read. And again, this isn't my words. I'm putting their words out there, okay? Mm-hmm. This is a very important part. Let me see if I make sure I get to the line. Okay, here it is. They are throwing everything they have at me because they know I am the one Republican who can beat Ned Lamont in November. Now, I want everyone in the Erin campaign to consider that opening sentence. They're throwing everything at her. Now, let's be a little introspective. What else are they going to throw at you?
Right. What is the everything else? And also, McCoy and Fazio have thrown nothing at her.
Correct.
And they think about, like, and he spent Mother's Day attacking a mother of two. What? Dude, she's losing her mind.
And there you have it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, sir. Let's take Rich. How are you doing, Rich? Thank you for holding.
Hey, good to hear from you, Reese. Yeah. Hey, we as Republicans have to come up with a cohesive answer to this stuff. Keep telling the truth, which is the Democrats are bankrupting Connecticut.
Correct.
Spend, spend, spend. That's what they want to do. Well, Republicans have got to step up and say, stop the spending, only what we actually really need to run the government, and then explain your expenses.
That's
the
it.
Truth will set you free.
Right. And this is one of those things. Look, I think that it's a clean bill of health if indeed these are bad optics and you understand where the optics are going to make people a little leery of your tenure as mayor of New Britain, then you come out and you say, look, these mistakes can be remedied. This is not the person I am, and here's the reason why it isn't the person that I am. These things were for this, for that, for whatever. Don't do the whole, it's everybody else is doing all this stuff. You don't do that. This is a thing that you come straight out with and say, here's why this was done, here's why we did this, and here's how we paid it back. Or this is, this was never, ever just left out in the lurch. and we can cover, like, this can't be left to everybody else is attacking me for makeup. No.
Yeah,
this isn't makeup.
exactly.
This is far more than that. Everybody knows it is. You can't look at, I wish that this was $5,000 a year. I wish this was $1,000 a year. Then we could all look at it and just go, come on, dude. We can't look at $207,000 at the rate of $20,000 a year. That's not what's the name, like a drop in the bucket. $20,000 is a serious amount of money. Okay, for anybody.
Exactly.
It is a considerable amount of money. Even if it's done in piecemeal, it is done for, in this case, the way they're looking at it, is done for 10 years or close to, for that matter, from 2016 to 2025. And it has to be taken with a monicum of seriousness on the person that they're alleging did something wrong. And if your response isn't as serious as the allegation, and it's all about, well, they're just attacking me, it doesn't wash. I'm sorry, it cannot wash.
Right. Erin has to she should have just responded, I will get back to you with a full accounting. Some of this goes back nearly 10 years. Come on, nobody can remember their 10-year expenses without looking it up. It's going to take me a few minutes. It's going to take a while. I'll look it up, and I will get back to you. And do it. Get back to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, $200,000. We got to know, where's this money gone?
Yeah, again, and I know if it's treated that way, people are going to treat your response to it that way. If it's treated flippantly,
right,
people are going to respond to you flippantly. And again, again, I get the core supporters of Erin Stewart who, in essence, can look the other way and just say, whatever, these guys have been corrupt forever. But what does that make you? And I'll talk about that in a little bit when we get back. But thank you, Rich. I appreciate you holding on again. All right.
Thanks, Reese.
You got it. I'll make this point in a second. This is the core of this, and I'm going to bring in my ex-wife, Mary, on this one, because it totally captures all of this. And I will say this also before we go to a break. Erin supporters, take note. I accept your anger. I accept your ire. I do. But I am not working for the credibility that you want me to have. I'm working on the credibility that I need for myself. And if I didn't, every liberal person who listens to this network would have said, see, he's nothing more than a partisan hack. And I don't need their approval either. The only approval I have is my own. So I can take anybody being angry at me, and you can turn off the station and move on just as fast as some libs do. Because I'm never going to live to that. I'm never going to live to that measure. I'm going to live to my own. God bless you. Peace out if you got to go. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Many, many moons ago, my ex-wife and I, Mary, and we're very dear friends today, it was very early in our marriage. We bickered a lot. Hard to believe that marriage lasted 10 years. But we fought a lot. And one of the things Mary always said about me was, I have this way about me that just incites. Much like people talk about Donald Trump. It's like he says things and you just get, people just react to it. It's just the way that he says it. It just ticks them off a certain way. I've always had that ability. I know exactly. My deal is that you never come at me showing me where you wear your emotions. You wear them on your heel, I attack your heel. You wear them on your wrist, I attack your wrist. And when I noticed that, you're a sitting duck. And Mary and I had that dynamic. I knew the things that really got at her, and I played to them easily. And she would always say, her response was, you do that because you know it gets a rise out of me. And I go, yeah, I do know that. It's because you have no self-control. And in knowing you have no self-control, you behave exactly as I expect you to. You're a puppet. That's how that works. But you would sooner blame me for your behavior. See, I triggered you. I said the thing that made you react, and you justify your reaction. You'll grab a cup and throw it across the room, or you'll take a swing at me, or you'll push me and scream and holler, or go off on a tear because I triggered you. And it's my responsibility not to make you react, but not taking ownership of who you are. Never once. Because as long as you can blame me, there is no responsibility. It isn't about me. It's about you. Always is. And that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen, like it or not. No one placed these accounts on her lap. No one did. At all. The Hartford Courant did not celebrate her husband's 40th birthday. Okay? And I don't care how much you don't like that. But I want to talk to and deal with grown-ups here. And if your feelings are invested in this isn't the place for you to have that conversation. And I don't care how emotional anyone gets. Deal with this, get it right, and move on. But if you can't deal with it, then you just blame the Hartford Courant, Ned Lamont, and Bobby Garcia. Like Mary blamed me. And Mary's a better person today because she's recognized that only she can be responsible for what she does. And that's a lesson all of us can learn, especially Democrats. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's here. He's getting you home. For those of you getting out, damn, early.
Nice. Good for you.
Mark Christopher's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah.
All right, second half of Reese on the Radio coming up right here on WTIC, News Talk 1080. We have got to talk about the word that the left loves more than anything. Democracy. And how, for some odd reason, they've abandoned that. Got a whole bunch of sound bites on that as well. Also, I want to talk a little bit about this P card. It is not new to its abuse, if not use, here in Connecticut. You guys might remember the story of Curtis Thomas, also known as Alexander Thomas, as well. This was a story that was covered last year in 2025. Also, we need to talk about Virginia, gerrymandering, Louisiana, the black vote, all of that good stuff when we return on the program. It's a segment I want to call Not All Skin Folk is Kinfolk. That's what they say in the hood. Not all skin folk is kinfolk. I've got some audio sound bites for that as well. And did you know that 24% of Democrats in the state of Connecticut own guns? Did you know that? I didn't know it either, but now I do. So we have to talk about that. Plus, we'll preview who our guest is tomorrow and next week because they're both aligned. I have a conversation later on today with somebody who works, if not worked, at Bright Path tonight. So we'll tell you all the details of that as well. So stand by. When we return, we'll talk about gerrymandering Virginia and their very, very crazy plan in order to gerrymander that state. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, we are back. And, yeah, you know what? Let me take Matt real quick. I haven't heard from him in a while. What's up, Big Matty-O?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. You back home? Where you coming from now? Turkey? Istanbul? Where you been? Where you been? You're always traveling the globe. You're like Carmen Sandiego.
I'm in the most exotic place on earth, Torrington, Connecticut.
Yeah. So what's going on with you?
So I was calling about Erin Stewart.
Okay.
So I know everyone's down on her, and I get why. But honestly, I still believe she has the best chance of winning in Connecticut as a Republican. And trust me, just because you don't believe that doesn't mean we hate you. We still love you.
No, hey, no, and I love you too. Let me put it this way. See, this is me. This is so much chum in this. I have an advantage that none of you listening to this show have. And I listen to every word that people say when they come on here. Rudy last week wanted to bet me, she's going to win anyway, Reese. You don't know what you're talking about. And there's so many people who have come here who have said to me, yeah, Reese, this is the way things go. It's never going to be the way that you say it is. And then, look, Mark in West Hartford, Craig in the car, all of these guys have come to me and said, you know what? In the beginning, we came in here and we told you how it's going to be, and then you said it was going to be another way, and sure enough, it was another way. And there's a reason why, as I tell people, I never crack this mic not knowing what I'm talking about. I'm ahead of the curve because I've talked to everyone I need to talk to. And there are things that people tell me that I can never say out loud, and I would never say out loud. And I come in here sort of behaving like a Kreskin, saying, this, that, and everything else, right? And everyone's just going, man, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's all that. And I go, okay, all right, no problem. Doubt me. That's fine. And then I come in and I pat myself on the back and I go, see, I told you. Why? Because I never tell stories out of school. I never tell everybody, don't worry, you don't know what I know. I don't do that because I'm not arrogant in that way. I just know what I know. And
you are the prognosticator in chief. I will give you that.
Thank you.
But yes, we don't hate you just because you disagree with us.
I hear you. All. Thank you. And that means the world to me. Because, again, I am not trying to I tell these people, look, I know what you're used to. I get it. And when I find the way that things are working, and I did that in Virginia, as I did in D.C., as I've done in New York, I know that there is a way. Everybody will always say, but just recently they gave me this big crap about Hartford. They go, Reese, you're never going to be able to change Hartford because that's just the way things go. And then and then here's what the thing is, right? It's sort of like coming to me saying, here's how the sausage is made, and that's just how it's done. And I said, are you telling me that no one ever looked at something, seeing the way that it's done, and never came in and changed the process at all? We've always lived like that? No. We know for a fact that everything is improved in life because someone came in to innovate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I look at it. People think politics are immune to that idea. And I'm telling people that's nonsense.
Hey, I hope you're right. I hope a true Republican can win in Connecticut, but
people have to stop looking at politics in a partisan way. What do I mean by that? Is, again, there are some people who will sit here all day and say, they just hate us, Reese. They hate us because we're Republicans. And then I go, that's interesting, because turn around, and when it starts going into their pockets, when it starts going to their taxes, when it starts going to their lives, when it starts going to their safety, they quietly behind the scenes go, I got to vote the other way. I don't have to tell anybody because I can lie all day. I can say, no, I voted for Lamont, knowing damn well they voted for the other guy. Can I give you a quick example of what I'm talking about, Matteo?
Okay, well, let me give you a quick example.
Okay.
Bob Stefanowski.
Yeah?
I really thought he was going to be the next governor. I really did.
And look, he was only 163,000 votes behind.
Mm-hmm.
And it was strong. It was a strong possibility that he could have. But here's what I want you to consider, right? Are you watching the California race for Los Angeles mayor? Are you watching that at all?
I'm listening to you.
Okay. So Spencer Pratt is a former reality star who I would say 10, 15 years ago was probably one of the most reprehensible reality show stars in history. This guy was a clown. He was what they called a douche. They called him douchey and all that. But then his house burned down. Then he saw horrible and corrupt government. And look at the guy today.
I keep trying to tell everyone that, they try to put me in a box. I didn't run to be a political party. I didn't run to be a politician. I ran because I experienced what city leadership failure at the ultimate level is. That's why I stepped up. That's what cuts through. So the media and everyone wants to jump on and be like, oh, Spencer's our guy. No, I'm the citizen. I am the angry taxpayer. You can be a Democrat and love me. You can be a Republican and love me. The only people that don't love me are communists and socialists, and I don't want them to love me.
Spencer Pratt, with all of that noise behind me. I should have just put you on hold. But Spencer Pratt, what he was able to do in that one little speech was to say one thing, is that he's the taxpayer, and the taxpayer is a Republican and a Democrat, and they can all love him because what he's trying to do is to save them at their bottom line. You can hate the guy, you can hate politics, you can hate the politician, but if the guy is saying, I'm one of you, and I'm sick and tired of my taxes going through the roof, I'm sick and tired of the way that, we can't build or we can't rebuild our lives, and these people are putting a bridge between the two of us, or a gap between us getting our daily lives served, people are going to go, I need that guy. I can't look as much as I want to support Karen Bass. I can't, because guess what? I can't put food on my table anymore. And I'm going to have to do what's best for me. And that's what can happen here in Connecticut. People can make this about whether or not they support Donald Trump or not. They can make it about, is he a MAGA Republican or not, or whether or not he's a red meat Republican. At the end of the day, you, me, and everybody else, especially liberals, are saying, dude, it's too expensive to live here.
And I would agree with you. And I thought exactly that for the last two elections. And so far I've been disappointed, but
I know, but
you never know.
That's right. You never know. Indeed that. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. I just want to let me play this clip real quick before I get in here. Okay. Many people are talking about this whole thing in Virginia. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'll go one step further. This is important because you guys are calling in. I'm assuming you want to stay on this track. So I'm going to push back my agenda on the show to the next hour because, again, this is it is an important story, and I know you guys want to pay attention to this. So I don't want to steal the momentum I have on these other stories. I'm going to stick with you guys on this one, all right? Let's go to Eric, who's in East Hartford. He's on hold. What's going on, Eric?
Hey, Reese, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, sir. What do you got for me?
So this whole Erin Stewart thing, when you were reading that, I was rolling my eyes so hard because,
okay,
dude, I'm a Gen Xer, and yeah, I'm sorry. I have to apologize, Gen Xers. We brought Karens into the world, but the rest of us, we can't stand like the identity politics stuff and the whining. When you said what Ryan Fazio did on Mother, I'm like, girl, really? Did you just pull the mom card? I believe most of us care a whole lot less about what Ryan Fazio was doing and more of what you were spending. If indeed what you were spending was, not on the up and up.
Right. Which is and that's the answer that people want. And you know what's a good part about what you just said, Eric? And this is why this is important, right? The most important part about what you want in this story is I don't want to believe, and I'm saying this to all the Erin supporters, if you're an Erin supporter, let me pretend I'm you. I don't want to believe the Hartford Courant story. I think it's phony. And you want to know why I believe it's phony? Because Erin's going to explain it to me right now that it's all bubkiss. And
exactly. I posted, I shared the story on X and obviously at her. And hey, we've got questions. Bring the receipts.
Yep.
No pun intended, but bring the receipts. And as she said, and I was kind of like curious in the statement when she said, everything has been there and available for audit for 12 years. Oh, so basically just saying, well, since nobody's looked at it, everything's cool, right? Nobody said, no, Erin, you can't do that. I'm sorry. Shouldn't you have already known that? I'm just a regular guy. I just ask questions. I don't know.
And it's fair for you to ask questions because what are you asking? Listen, why are you asking for questions to be answered? Because you have an interest in voting for her, right?
She's on there. She's one of the three choices.
That's right. Right. So
I'm completely undecided because it's politics. Come on, Reese. You and I and all of us know there's going to be a lot of ish that's going to be bubbling to the surface in the next few months. Because that's politics.
Right.
So that's why I sit back and I sit back and I watch. But yes, again, if, as you said, the Erin supporters, okay, hey, Erin, I heard this. Do you mind explaining this? Could you make this make sense for me?
Exactly.
That's it. Just answer the question.
And I'm going on the basis of, look, if you're an Erin supporter and you think this is an unfair attack on her, right? And this is always the case, what I always say, right? It's hard for you to deny a negative, right? Because if this had been someone just published a report and says, there's a rumor that Erin Stewart may have spent $207,000, and that would have been the report. We can all look at that and say, oh, right, you didn't produce any evidence of that. You didn't produce anything of it. So the rumor and innuendo, you're just trying to handicap her campaign. But then you do this, right? Then you do this and you go, here's a bunch of receipts that showed that these items were sent to the house and they were posted under office supplies. And then you go, okay, to me, that I'm looking at that, I'm going, all right, that seems a little shady, but you know what? I'm going to give it a benefit of the doubt. Erin, do you care to explain this to the rest of us? Because I do want to vote for you, and I don't want to have a guilty conscience anyway. And then you go, yes, absolutely. This, that, and the third. You're right. You deserve it because I want your vote.
Correct.
That's it.
Instead, she tried to turn it around the way Donald Trump would and use an attack to her benefit, and it didn't work.
Exactly. And you know what? If Donald Trump had done this and it failed miserably, we'd have all called him out and said, Donald,
100%.
You know what I mean? Donald, that is a lame. Wait, you know what I'm bringing up? You know what I'm thinking about, Eric, when you said that? Just about the Jesus depiction. Right? Remember that? Yeah. When he said, "Oh no, I was a healer." I'm just, oh, come on, dude.
Come on, bro. Even I was like, dude, no, come on. I'm not a religious person, and even I was semi-offended. I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah, like
bro.
exactly. I wasn't even offended, but I just the excuse was, come on, bro. This, and I know the story would blow over as it does, but the bottom line is like that was a lame excuse. You take ownership of it. You got to go, dude. That excuse was horrible at best.
It's like Don. It's raining out, but that puddle's warm. Okay? I'm so glad you took it down. You know
exactly.
Right, Reese, let me let you go because I'm sure there's other.
I appreciate you, man. You got it, man.
You taking a call, brother. You have a great day.
Thank you, man. You too. Is this who I think it is? Is this the future, if not running representative, Krista Lancia? Is he on the line, Chris?
Yes, that's me. I know I'm going to be on the show, but these people, I had to call in today, Reese, but I'm tired of people saying we can't win in Connecticut.
Damn right.
We can't win if you get out, you open your checkbook, and you get in and you go and vote. And we can win. We're not blue.
We're
not blue.
That's right.
We're purple, fading red. Rosa Dolores, 83 years old. If you think she's doing something for the state of Connecticut, then don't vote for me.
There you go.
Because that's how it goes. And I know I'm going to be on your show to talk more, but these people got to stop. You know, if you don't think, I remember when all this came out about Joe Ganim, when John Rowland went after him during election time because Joe would have took his seat. I know Joe for 30 years. I don't agree with what he did. I don't know what Erin did, really. You read what's in the paper.
Right.
Okay, I've been in the room with all of these people the last year and a half.
Right.
Let people explain themselves before we start going like a bunch of
agreed
who are eating each other from the inside. And I just couldn't hold it anymore, Reese.
No, dude, listen to me. I am with you. I treat this thing like when I coached Little League soccer, my response to these people was always the same. And I said to the kids all the time, if you were walking into a game after a loss like you're just going to lose the game, why show up anyway? Like, why show up at all?
I give Erin credit for wanting to stay in the game and fight, because I would too. But here's the problem with Connecticut. We need to stop this delegate thing that we're doing with this convention, because all of us are wasting our time trying to get these delegates to vote for us, when we should just hit the street, let the people think about who they want, when they want, what we're going to do for them. I don't like the way we have to do this, but I had to do it myself, and I respect everybody who I've talked to, and I hope Friday becomes the day that I think it's going to be, you know, and I come back on your show as the endorsed candidate. I run with it from there.
Exactly that. Look, as I said, let's really use that phrase for what it means. It is time for something different. Now we've got to ask ourselves, are we willing to? You know what I mean?
No, we have to.
Yeah.
We have to. Like I said, I can't wait to get I gave you more energy when I'm in the studio.
No, you're going to be here soon. In fact, I'm calling Mike in a little bit, and we'll make sure that happens this week, okay?
But I just want one thing before I hang up with you. I want your listeners to listen to me. I don't care if you're liberal, you're Democrat. We need to start voting for common sense.
There you go.
Common sense. Okay,
indeed.
I appreciate you, Reese.
Thank you, man. You got it,
Looking
man.
Forward to you.
You got it, sir. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Mark, real quick, in roughly about an hour or so, I'm going to do this thing called Rodney's Records. I'm going to ask the question about whether or not you believe 1983 was the best year in music. Think about it. Go look up which songs came out and whether or not you believe it was the best year in music, 1983.
I can already tell you I like 1985 better.
You do? Good. Then Rodney's going to be upset.
Is he? Oh,
well, I'm going to go over the list.
I'm
going to go over no, he's going to be mad at me. I'm going to go over the list later, but I don't agree with him. But Rodney from 10 Cafe in Bristol, he says, bar none, 1983 was the best year in music ever. So I'm going to test that theory with a bunch of things, but I'll get you into the fray when we can.
I'm already partial to 85, but that's just me.
I think you and me are too.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. You know what? Let's. I was supposed to move this around, but I did not. Let's just do it. We do it every day. This is the stupidest thing I read today for this reason alone, and every Democrat should be listening to this story, okay? And I don't know why they don't, but they should be. Let me just make sure that I put it up here on the screen, and I've got to start the whole thing over. So let me pause that, move that over. There it is. Okay. So this is a story about Lehman High School. I used to live right down the street from this school in the Bronx when I was a kid. I was in a group home. And this story will shock you, but it's what the young lady, the high school student, says at the end that makes the whole thing perfect.
This is an exclusive photo of her getting arrested on April 27th, sent to us by someone with ties to the school. Now, more than a week later, we're finding out she allegedly lied about her identity and impersonated a teen. Now, according to the criminal complaint, Klassen is facing criminal impersonation and trespassing charges. Court records show she pled not guilty to both. The document goes on to say on April 13th, she enrolled as a student at Westchester Square Academy under the name Shamara Rashad, with the birthday March 8th, 2010, which would make her 16 years old. The principal then saw a Facebook page with her photo and a different birthday and confronted her about it. He first asked her for her information. She said, "My name is Shamara Rashad. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Ohio. I came to New York with my sister."
Truth be told, her real name was Casey Klassen, and she enrolled in that school back in April. Here's what they didn't know.
And he showed her the Facebook page and asked if that was her. She said, "Yes, my real name is Casey Klassen, and my real date of birth is July 29th, 1997.
That's right. Born in 1997. That would make Casey Klassen 28 years old, impersonating a teenager at a high school in the Bronx. Trust me, that's not the worst of the story.
I'm not Shamara Rashad. I'm not 16 years old. I lied about my identity because my friend forced me to. She was using me to receive more public assistance. Now, Westchester Square Academy is one of 6 schools on this campus. One of the schools, Lehman High School, sent out a letter saying there were concerns about the student's identity that turned out to be true. We spoke with some students at dismissal today to get their reaction, many of them shocked.
That really, puts a danger to our school, and yeah, just, don't do that. This is insane. I don't know how to let her in. She's 30 years old. She looks 16, guys. Be careful and check IDs.
That's right, folks. Be careful and check IDs. Out the mouths of babies, huh? Mark Christopher's back. He is at the VPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Check their IDs, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, you guys are talking, and I am taking your calls at 860-522-WTIC. Rudy is in Florida. Okay, buddy. She's the candidate, yes or no?
Oh, this is a total screwball, but if you look into Betsy's background, I'm pretty sure she has similar stuff.
Okay.
Because she was a Democrat lieutenant governor in New York, which should be strike one with everyone in Connecticut that's a Republican.
Okay.
You know how of all people, you know how New York Democrat politicians are.
Oh, no, I know all too well.
She probably would make Erin Stewart look like a saint. In defense of me last week, I was referring to my experience with RTCs in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
She was the chosen candidate by Ben Proto and the Republican Party. Now, they're probably going to have to scramble because you can't explain buying a $130 pair of Lucky shoes.
Mm-hmm.
on your city. I mean, I had a P card. Have you ever had a P card?
I don't know anything about it. I've had a stipend before, but that was when I worked in public relations, and that money just went to my bank account.
So I had a P card, and I could expense meals on the road.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure Joe from Simsbury could call in and explain the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I'm very familiar with it. I've never had one, but I know them well.
But I sure as heck wouldn't keep my job if I bought a pair of shoes while I was staying in a hotel in Houston on my corporate credit card. It's very clear. It has to be related to my job. Meal on the road. You know, I work for Wolfgang Puck, and I train general managers all over the country.
Right.
And if the beer towers in a bar in a Wolfgang Puck restaurant broke, I get charged the repair, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But if I even bought a pair of socks on my P card, first of all, I'd have to submit a check with my expense report to cover that.
And when I worked, by the way, let me just say you this, Rudy, when I worked in public relations, right, I worked for Double Exposure. We had Angelo Ellerby here as a guest. He sent me to Toronto to work with a rap group that I was familiar with. That's why he gave me the account. I wasn't even allowed to use that stipend to buy a beer.
That's my whole point. You couldn't do. I could if I went to the Capitol Grill on my birthday while I was on the road. They'd pay for my steak. They'd pay for everything. But if I put alcohol on that tab,
just didn't work.
My vice president that I reported to was next to the Empire State Building. He would ask me to come down to New York City to explain myself. So if you did screw up and use that for something non-business related, you're going to get a write-up in your personnel file, and you better submit a check when you submit your expense report to cover your mistake.
That's right.
But you're still going to get a lecture. I wanted to talk about Virginia, but hey, what's the month of February known for?
The month of February? What do I know?
What's it known for?
I don't know. Valentine's Day?
Black History Month.
Oh, yeah. What about that?
What's June? Gay Pride Month.
Gay Pride Month, yes.
So everyone doesn't cry next month like they have the last 10 years on this radio station. This month is Military Appreciation Month.
Okay.
And military veterans and active duty are getting discounts everywhere. And a public service announcement, if you're a Gold Star family, active duty, or veteran, you can get a lifetime free pass from the United States parks. So you get a pass which will let you go into Yellowstone Park for free.
Oh, okay.
Across the whole country.
Okay.
But you mentioned Virginia.
Yeah, briefly. I've got a whole dissertation about Virginia, which I'll get into. I'll even let you call back on it. Just let me do it.
But Virginia broke their constitution.
Yes, I'm well aware of that. I'm going to get into that. I promise you. I've got the whole thing. I got a whole, like I said, I have a whole
Florida and
breakdown.
Texas aren't handling redistricting any different. Florida's actually reacting to SCOTUS ruling that you can't have districts based just because you got to get black representation.
Exactly. I'm going to break that down. Don't steal my thunder. I promise I will. Let me get to some other calls, Rudy. God bless you.
Lightning and thunder.
You got it. Charlene is back. Hello, Charlene.
Hi, Reese. Just to let the audience know, I am from New Britain,
okay.
And I do not personally know Erin.
Okay.
But I always thought that she was doing a good job.
Okay.
But having said that, I learned a long time ago, not only do I listen to what people say, but I also listen to what they don't say. And she has not denied making the charges, nor has she said that she reimbursed the charges. And she's also said that she went through audits. Well, if anybody understands how an audit works, it is merely a sampling of examples, in a particular account where, you might pick out 15. I don't know. I mean, I'm just making up numbers, but you're not looking at everything. You're just pulling something out to see if it had, what it's supposed to have.
Correct.
The appropriate
markings.
Evidence that, yes, exactly. So it's very striking to me that she has taken this very aggressive, offensive, I don't know if she's trying to emulate Trump or whatever, but the difference between her and Trump is when Trump denies something, he knows there's nothing to the accusations. She is not denying the accusations. She's just kind of glossing over it, like ignore.
Right, and I totally get what you're saying as far as the tactic is concerned. It's sort of like saying, I'm not denying that I used this money to do this, that, or the other. I am suggesting that this isn't the big deal that the paper is making it out of, and therefore people's reaction to it is overblown. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But now I've got another thing, though, because I was looking, and I hate to be quoting something because I was originally a conservative Democrat. I'm now a Republican. But anyway, but I'm going to quote something from the New Britain Progressive.
Hey, you know what? A broken clock is right twice a day.
And what it was talking about was back in 2022, she restructured the debt. Now, I find it very interesting that the person that the restructuring was done with was a company, Mesero, I guess. And guess who was the person who was talking about it? John Healey. Now, John Healey was a member. Well, he used to be Erin Stewart's chief of staff in her first term.
Okay.
At least according to this article. Now John Healey is the advisor on her campaign for governor.
Okay.
So what they did was they restructured the bonds and extended the debt by 13 years.
Right. I wanted to say 10 years because Mark in West Hartford made a big argument about that in 2022. He was on this very program talking about that.
Well, now I'm sitting here, and now it's going to cost us another 33, according to this article. So I'm
I get you.
With a grain of salt. But according to this article, it's saying that it's going to cost the city of New Britain $33 million additional. So now what's the difference between how she said they went in the hole from now they're with a surplus?
To the surplus, exactly, which in essence, the $33 million that will then need to be paid for down the road immediately, so it absorbs the so-called surplus is your debate.
Exactly. I mean, we're still paying it, and I mean, it's infuriating to me, to be honest with you.
I hear you.
So I was open to, the three candidates. Erin should bow out and spend her time defending what she's done.
I hear you.
Protecting herself.
I hear you. Charlene, thank you. Let me grab a couple more here. In fact, speaking of the aforementioned Mark in West Hartford, thank you, Charlene. Let's go to him now. Mark, you remember that when you talked about it here. I don't remember. You were screaming it to every network that you could.
She was going to come on with you. Do you remember?
I do.
Ask her. She was 2045 is the last payment on her debt and blah, blah, blah. Well, she never came on. Hey, can I play a little game with you? We don't play games.
No, sure, we don't.
Whose line is it anyway? Do you know that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes,
I don't watch it, but I know the concept, right?
Right.
Improv. So let's me and you do a little improv.
Okay.
I'm a delegate, and you're Erin Stewart.
Okay.
You're going to call me.
Okay.
Because you remember, she doesn't have time for debates or conversations with the other candidates because she's busy calling her delegates, right? So you've just rang me. Hey, Mark Walsh here. Go ahead. What could Erin be doing with her delegates right now in the middle of this? If she started phone calls today, how would you start the conversation?
I would begin probably by saying, I would like your vote during the convention, and if you have any concerns about my viability, let me begin by telling you what will probably come out and what is or isn't true. That was what I would do. If I really wanted it and if I was certain that I could win and I was certain that my baggage was not going to hinder me in the general, I would come to you and say, hey, I would start off by saying, yes, I know you read what's in the paper, but here's why that means nothing. And if there's other stuff that comes out, here's what it is that they're going to try to pin on me or suggest that I'm about. And this is the reason why you shouldn't believe that. And you should still vote for me during the convention.
Now, here's where it gets tricky with this game.
Okay.
Let's assume just one thing, a tube of lipstick.
Hey, Erin, just tell me, even a tube of lipstick, did you buy yourself a tube of lipstick with that P card? Just that, even if it's that. Did you, like, anything that
okay.
small?
Yeah, I was.
Did you charge it?
I couldn't find, but you know what? I had my bag with me, and usually I lose stuff in it, and I grabbed the first card that was there, and I said, whatever, I'll just pay it back.
Okay, let's stop the game. Listen, I want people to go on Mark from West Hartford on Twitter, on X.
I thought I was answering this well.
No, you did a good job. Made me laugh. Thank you. I needed a laugh today. Hey, so I want people to go on because it's so easy now. I'm attaching things. I got pictures of her at the Hartford Club where, now there's memberships and dinners. I got one was my favorite one, 2022. She purchased a golf shirt, a plaid vest, and some shoes. Well, I have her wearing the plaid vest at her charity golf tournament. It's like, what is she going to say when now we have documentation and images of some of the purchases she made?
Interesting.
How is she going to survive this? And people really, for those of you who don't know, I'm inundating you with the Hartford story only because for you conservatives, Republicans want to go, oh, well, of course, the Hartford Current, blah, blah, blah. Listen, Mayor Segarra, Mayor a.k.a. Mayor Caviar.
Yeah.
Him and his staff took a beating by the liberal, the same media you guys want to say. And I know they're...
And it was the same reporter. It was the same reporter, in fact.
They did an in-depth... You should see the things they found. I just sent you another one. It was so bad in Hartford. And I'm going to tell you right now, if everybody thinks this is just Erin doing it, because you know how it goes from the top down.
Right, always.
If she's doing it, her staff knows about it, it's going to be bad. There was one guy, he actually paid for a public works department employee. The poor guy's daughter died. Terrible, horrible. Right. He took the P card and paid for the funeral.
Wow.
For an employee, had to reimburse it. There's stories, though. Mayor Segarra's chief of staff, he was let go because of the P cards, right? Guess what he was doing? They had to arrest him. He was still driving around in the city-owned vehicle.
I was just looking.
This is going to happen.
I was just looking at the story. I just had it in front of me. Yes, here he is. What's his name? Alexander Thomas, the Hartford councilman. Last year, an internal audit department reviewed Thomas's use of the city's purchase card or city-issued purchase card. And he was using it for unauthorized thing. I think it was like the report cited over $500 in unauthorized expenses. He got in a hell of a lot of trouble for just one $500 purchase.
But I'll leave you with this. Ultimately, though, these frauds, these charlatans, these thieves sometimes get away with it. Because the head librarian in Hartford, and I told you this before, but people probably don't know this. Her name is Bridget Quinn Carey. Her and her boss squandered $300,000 from the Queens Library Department.
Wow.
Her and her boss were in charge. P cards, meals, trips, alcohol, concert tickets. You name it, it's all on there. And guess what happened to her? Well, she had to resign in disgrace to do what? Only to go to Hartford, Connecticut and be the head librarian there making $200,000 a year. It's unbelievable to me. So you know what, Erin? If you're smart, just go to another town. They'll hire you probably. But just leave here, please. Leave the state. Call up Bridget. Get some advice. Thanks, brother.
You got it. Much appreciated. I got to take a break. With that, we'll come back. More phone calls. We just stand by. I promise I will get to every single one of you when we return. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to save both of these stories for the next broadcast. That's how it goes. We'll return. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Let's do some music news. News. In music news today, Sabrina Carpenter, that little itty-bitty pop singer, she turns 27. That means in 3 years, nobody will care. That's right. Christoph Doom Schneider, the drummer for Rammstein, turns age 60. Mark Herndon, The drummer for Alabama turned 71. I loved Alabama growing up. Eric Bourdon turns 85. He is the rock singer from The Animals and War, who, of course, sang the iconic version of House of the Rising Sun. And Irving Berlin, although he died in 1989, was born on this day in 1888. Just enough respect to him. I don't do a lot of the people who have died. Their birthday really doesn't matter, but Irving Berlin deserves some credit. Milestones and anniversary on this day. Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark, released 34 years ago in 1992. Kraftwerk's Computer World and The Cure's Three Imaginary Boys dropped on this day in 81 and 1979, respectively. Woodstock, the soundtrack, was released on this day in 1970, 56 years ago. And it became a major hit to number one in the U.S. The Beatles' Please, Please Me began its 30-week run at number one in the U.K. charts back 63 years ago in 1963. Natalie Cole's debut is Inseparables, came out in 1975. Steely Dan's single, Ricky, Don't Lose That Number, was released in 1974 today. And Bob Marley died in 1981, 45 years ago today. We be jamming. Oh, Bob Marley. Bob Marley. Everybody I ever knew growing up who listened to Bob Marley, they always said, I love Bob Marley. And you go to their house and the only thing they had was Bob Marley Legends in their house. They had no Bob Marley records, just one CD, Bob Marley Legends. And I think that made them a fan. I never got that. I always said that they were weak fans. It's like people who say that Scarface is their favorite movie and have no idea who directed it, know no other characters other than Michelle Pfeiffer and Al Pacino.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I'm going to get to a couple of more of your phone calls, but I'm going to text my buddy Rodney over at 10 Cafe in Bristol. Because he said something over the weekend, as we go to him every Sunday, saying that 1983 was the best year in music. And I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to either agree or disagree. But I will grab those. I'll grab those lists, and you can tell me afterwards. Let's go to the phones. Who am I going to next? Let's go to Steve. Is in Meriden. Hello, sir.
Formerly Silver City, $3 million bridge to nowhere.
What's up, buddy? What do you got for me today?
Sorry about the music today. I didn't get it ready.
That's okay.
And because I want to say it's business as usual. City, state, and federal. If you don't realize what's going on, I have a relative that works in the government, and if you have a P card, you can only purchase stuff for where your job is. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a receipt for every one. It goes to finance and purchasing. They review every card, the bills, and what you're buying, and they either reject it and you pay for it yourself. But the whole point is, who are these other people doing this? Checking on this stuff.
Yeah, and there is. Look, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt, but I'm looking at this on so many other levels. And I'll go this far. Where's my contentious, where's the bone of contention that I have here? And it is in two words that appear in this report. And those two words, office supplies. That's where I have my problem. Those things aren't being explained, and they should be, because we deserve them. I cannot, and I will not, and no one ever knew, and no one ever thought in their minds that I give blanket support for anyone or anything without an explanation. I am a very thoughtful person when I come here and give my analysis. For anyone to ask me to blindly just follow someone would be stupid, if not unheard of, for them to think that about me. And I know a lot of people don't know me very well, but they know me well enough that I'm not going to just sit idly by and not call out stuff, or at least question stuff when it comes to in front of me. And again, I got nothing against the Hartford Courant in this, because I've seen this report go both ways, and suggesting that it's something that they are doing in a nefarious way. I've got to ask the question: did you leave breadcrumbs or not?
Correct. Very good answer.
Thank you.
I'd like to evaluate your own what's your attitude? I mean, it's like, hey, is there any punishment coming? Is there money to be paid back?
Yeah, what's the money? I mean, you know what? In fact, how about this? I would have started off with saying, hey, listen, you know what? It was $20,000 every year, and every bit of it was paid back. It wasn't used for, frivolously. We made sure everything was on the up and up.
Yeah, well, what started with government back in the 50s and 60s is nobody had any perks. Nobody had a car. Nobody had a credit card.
Indeed.
Nobody paid for anything. All of a sudden, people that get in there, they say, well, let's give this one this, and let's give somebody that. Well, bits and pieces get falling together. Next thing you know, we're paying taxes that we can't afford. I just got a $1,000 gas not a gasoline, a fuel oil delivery the other day.
Yeah.
I almost fell on my keister, It's just unbelievable. I'm a registered Democrat since 1962.
Wow.
And I bet you I voted Republican more than I voted.
That's actually good to know.
I was looking for my wallet. I don't care about billionaires. That's what I worked for. I worked in the food business,
Yeah.
And I worked for one of the top caterers in the state of Connecticut. Who do we work for? The rich people.
Yep.
I think it's for these parties and all the stuff. And where did they get the money from? I don't care where they got the money from. Did they rob a bank or did they work hard? I don't know. Maybe they got it from their father.
I appreciate you, Steve. Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
You got it. Let's go to Sam the Man. He's finally called back. What's up, Sammy?
Hey, Reese, man. So I really think that some of the responsibility upon this should lay in Mr. Proto's lap.
Ooh, okay. Tell me your angle here.
Well, I mean, he's the head of the GOP for the state. Shouldn't he investigate these people before they jump into a race where they're only going to embarrass our party?
It's an incredibly great question that I posed in my opening monologue. Because, again, remember, we are taking the words of the campaign of Erin Stewart. In the opening line of this press release, let me grab it here. Or maybe it's over here. I don't even know where it is anymore. But anyway, the opening line is that this is... here it is. Sorry. Let me read it. It says, they're throwing everything they have at me because they know I am the one Republican who can beat Ned Lamont in November. Okay. They're throwing everything at me. So it would be incumbent on Republicans, Ben Proto, as you point out, to gather all of the candidates together and say, look, they're clearly, running with their tails between their legs, the Democrats, and they're going to pull everything out to use against you. Ryan, what do you have in your closet? Betsy, what do you got going on? Erin, what do you have going on? Let's get ahead of it so that when we get to November, we can beat the pants off this guy and we know what they're going to throw at us before they throw at us. What does every scouting report do for the team, the opposing team? They know who's injured. They know who's having a bad night. They know who's pitching left-handed. They know who's pitching right-handed. They know exactly who's going to throw a curve and who's going to throw a strike. The objective is they do their research. And you got to do your own research. You got to go to your own team and say, hey, how's the arm doing tonight? Can you pitch?
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, like what's going to come up from, Fazio or Betsy's past when Erin finally decides to throw the towel at Ben?
Exactly. That's exactly. And I would go to every one of them. I would say to Ryan, look, Ryan can throw back sort of some dirt on Erin Stewart. That's how this thing goes. The debates have been fair and they're being reasonable. We've seen Betsy and Ryan out there actually being very complimentary to one another. It hasn't been mudslinging. But this kind of stuff, believe it or not, and this is the part that Erin Stewart's camp needs to understand. It is this kind of stuff that will bleed over into Ryan's campaign. Why? Because they will say, see the Republicans. And if Ryan doesn't speak up about this in any way, in any meaningful way, they'll say Ryan sat by and allowed this to happen while his party was trying to unseat Lamont. Because he's got to separate himself from that.
Right.
So.
Oh, well.
I don't know. What are you going to do? Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate you, buddy. You got it.
Take my call, buddy. Bye.
You got it. Let's go to Kim. Hey, Kim's in Cromwell. Hello, Kim.
Just some comments. First of all, I think the Republican slate, I think in general these are pretty good people.
Okay.
Good track records, all of them, fairly consistent. I don't think any of them are particularly terrible.
Okay.
We all have skeletons. Okay.
Indeed.
what I would probably say is what happens to Republicans every year is when they pick on each other, okay, and they don't see the forest through the trees, is I care more about policy and results than all this crap here. One thing I see from experience here in our state is if you're a basic, real conservative in this state, you're not going to get elected, okay? We can't seem to get any conservatives into office from Greenwich. This goes back, we had Foley, we had Stefanowski, we had Brooks Johnson, way back when he ran against Dodd. And I think what it is, all the poor cities come out and think automatically, well, they're for rich people, so they can't be for me.
Right.
And that's why I think you have to go with somebody that is winnable. We can't seem to drop that until we change the culture enough. And I don't know that we are changing the culture, even though we have a lot of steady habit people that research stuff. The majority of the state doesn't. We are becoming a state that is a welfare state. And it's all designed to redistribute from those who are working to those who are not, and then the politicians will take credit. Connecticut has no economy at all.
Indeed. I think you're 100% right. And you're right. I think that there is this sort of, which started in the beginning, before any of this started playing out the way that it is. What I heard from people here, and I'm sure you heard it, Kim, were people saying, can we just not have another candidate from Greenwich? Can we, Steve, please not grabbing people from Fairfield? There was always that sort of sentiment that they thought that sort of created a buffer between them, that candidate, and the inner city or those who are middle class or working poor, that we cannot sell that candidate to the average citizen in Hartford.
You can't. The only ones that really get elected from there now are like these soccer mom things that are all into this kumbaya, progressive this, let's spend money. The money is not available.
Right.
And this is why we are so stressed as citizens, is they keep coming up with more and more ideas, especially over the summer, what to tax next to get money into the state budget. Every week you hear about some franchise laying off or closing shop, and they must just twiddle their fingers up in Hartford
Correct.
And say, oh, we're losing some people there. And they'll say, what can we take now from the middle class to just go? Eventually, it is catching up to the point where they'll eventually break this state completely, and some people will just pick up and go in a day out of state, and then you will have literally very few people left to bear that burden.
Indeed.
All because these clowns up in Connecticut, all they do is practice socialistic economic practices.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, you're right. We're up against, we're on the precipice of an Atlas Shrugged situation. And people are going to say enough is enough, just like they're doing in New York.
Well, exactly. They're destroying New York, too. At least New York at least still has some business downtown.
Right.
But it's like, I have to laugh listening to that line that Lamont said on Erin's commercial. We're trying to do what we can to make life a little bit less expensive here. He doesn't know what it's like to live. I don't care whether you're middle class, upper middle class, working class. I don't think this guy gets it.
Nope.
That when something goes up severely, like even during, and I'll even say during this gas stuff, with gas approaching $5, which do you pay for? That, or do you have to cut back on a box of cereal?
Yep.
And the problem with some of those Democrats is they just always think that, oh, don't worry, people will just keep reaching down in their back pocket. Their back pocket. Look, if you don't get people buying something or tourism or something, or attract some kind of businesses here, we just won't be able to grow money where each person's contribution is levied over the entire population. So it's small. We're getting to the point, it's almost like the Social Security Fund.
Yeah.
4-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1, 2-to-1. What will we do when it gets down from 1.5 workers to every one mouth that we got to feed?
Yeah.
Why work?
Yeah, exactly right. Especially when you're making it easier and you keep telling them we're going to subsidize that behavior. That's the problem.
The thing is, they know that I think they've learned and trained themselves. The idea is they're not cultivating work ethic.
That's right.
Or resilience. Everybody has stumbles along the way. I understand that. And yes,
but we've got to be. But Kim, we've got to be able to make viable options for a person who loses one job to be able to find another.
That's the key. Instead of just saying the politician runs in, what can I do to give you money?
Exactly.
This is what they don't get.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Thank you, Kim. I got to take a break soon, but thank you so much.
Yep.
Kim's always great. Yeah, that's it. We're not creating the next opportunity. We're just creating the next mouth to feed. That's exactly right here. And that's why the change has got to come. But look, optics mean everything because I'm going to tell a quick story before we go to break, and I can do it in 30 seconds. We were at Stadium 15, and a listener walked up to me. And who, if he's listening now, he knows. And I hope that when I see him again, he brings it up and said, thank you for mentioning me. But this gentleman walked up to me and he pulled me over to the side. He says, Reese, I got to ask you this question. He goes, what do you think about this candidate? And I said, let me tell you this. And this is always going to be truthful. Okay. Barack Obama's biggest problem was making hope and change a catchphrase. Because when hope and change didn't arrive, it became a joke. Never let your catchphrase be your undoing. You understand? You're so busy looking for a catchphrase, never let it be your undoing. And that's why I started today's monologue with, okay, if it's time for something different, shouldn't we be behaving that way? Otherwise, it's a punchline. We'll be back.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we're back. We're going to get to the rest of your phone calls. If you want to call at the bottom of the show, you certainly can at 860-522-WTIC. Now, look, my buddy Rodney, who I should have texted him. I totally forgot to text him, but I'll send him a copy of this segment. And Roland, if you could, I'll forward it to him. Anyway, so he said to me, when I went to go to 10 Cafe, which I do every Sunday before we go to church to have breakfast, and Rodney's a friend, so I don't think he's crazy. He's got great taste in music. But he said this, and this blows my mind. If you want to tell me your favorite year, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. He says, hands down, the best decade, or best year in music, best year in music is 1983. So I went to go look this up, okay? Top 20 songs. I don't even know this last song. I think I do. It's by some singer named Frida. I know there's something going on. I never heard of this. I know the Twilight Zone, Let's Dance by David Bowie, Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran, Never Gonna Let You Go by Sergio Mendes, garbage song. She Works Hard for the Money, Donna Summer, Shame on the Moon, Shame on the Moon by Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Come On Eileen by the Dexys Midnight Runners, You and I, Eddie Rabbitt and Crystal Gale. I don't really? Do You Really Want to Hurt Me by the Culture Club. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Of course, Eurythmics. Maniac by Michael Sambano. That's from Flashdance. Baby Come to Me by Patty Austin and James Ingram. Man Eater by Daryl Hall and John Oates. Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Taylor. Beat It, Michael Jackson. Down Under by Men at Work. Flashdance, What a Feeling. Apparently it was a big year for them. And Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. And blah, blah, blah. Who did I miss? Oh, the number one song was Every Breath You Take by the Police. Now, yes, I do know this is top 40. I get it, okay? A lot of these songs are garbage. Every Breath You Take is absolute trash. I don't care what anybody says. It's the worst Police song ever produced. And I know you people like it. I know why you like it. It still is confusing to me because this song is garbage. The fact that this song is more popular than Synchronicity, and that's an equally bad song, baffles me. Okay? It just baffles me. But you guys seem to like it. And I think that people in Middle America like Every Breath You Take by the Police. But I am arguing 1983 is not the best year in music. And Mark Christopher is right in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center, whom we will applause. 1985 was the best year of music ever known to man. Yes, Mark?
I agree. I thought 85 was. I mean, I'm just listening to Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world.
There you go. Hands down, it beats out everything on your list.
Great song. Great song. Just seems like everything was so good in 1985.
It was. It was right in the center of the 80s. We have been trying to capture that year decades after.
Yep.
Do you understand that? Like, even, what's this guy, the real horrible guy called The Weeknd who spells it wrong? Even he is trying to recapture 1985 in his music. Everybody
is. Weeknd in concert. It was good.
You did?
I thought it was really good, yeah.
You saw The Weeknd in concert?
I did, at Foxborough.
Okay, you're on punishment for a week.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're a grown man.
I went with my kid.
You went with your daughter,
stepdaughter, and
okay.
My wife.
All right, well fine. That makes sense. I've been to horrible concerts too. Fine. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, my goodness. City Hall Adam just sent me a text message. He said, but 1985 also brought us this dud. And he just sent me the link. And usually the link will show what he had said, but I clicked on it before the video or the screenshot had actually shown, and I started playing it. It is by far the worst record. You all know it. Hold on. Oh, my God! I can't even listen to it. As soon as I hear the opening line, it is Garbaggio. Oh, my goodness, it's so bad. So I sent him back. I sent the text, oh, my God, I hate this song. And I said, I cringe whenever it airs. Now they're using it on a toilet paper ad, which is perfect placement for it. God, I hate that song. Oh, anyone who likes it, I will unfriend you. It's so bad. I will unfriend you. We built this city. Every time I hear it, I just go, and it's a song about rock and roll, and it couldn't be further from it. Anyway, 1983 and 1987, no others matter, Craig in the car says. And he's a music aficionado, so we'll get to him in a second. Mark is in Canton. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, Uncle Reese.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, 1983 was a great year. I was a junior in high school, and I went to my first Grateful Dead show in Hartford.
Wow.
Then 1985, Grateful Dead's 20th anniversary, I did the whole summer tour.
Really? Did you do any whippets, which I understand is a mainstay at their concert?
No whippets here.
No whippets,
no,
okay.
Save that for the dentist.
Okay. I appreciate you.
I got a question on this whole Erin BS campaign that she's touting.
Okay.
It says in a news report that the money that she supposedly spent was budgeted. What the hell does that mean?
That's a great question.
How did she have that money in the budget to buy diapers and, shorts for her husband?
It's a great question, and I think that's, you know what my golden rule is, Mark, on this? Never leave more questions with answers, if you get my meaning.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like when you are answering something that someone's pressing you on, if it leads to more questions, that's the issue. We ran into this with the let me respond to the notion that someone was asking you to forgive my taxes, right? To then someone asking the question, were you ever bribed, to say all the time, which only leads to, whoa, now we got more questions to ask. So that's what's kind of been happening with this campaign. And I will say this, these people who are saying, we're dragging Republicans down. Let me say this to that argument if I could. So I looked at this just a second ago. Let me get to, because Adam 12 just sent it to me. And it was written by the Connecticut Mirror. And I want to read this paragraph. This is not about dragging anybody down. It is about this paragraph alone. This comes directly from the Lamont campaign. He says that, let me see, if I miss this, I'm going to kick myself in the butt because I had it sitting here ready for the break. Oh, here it is. I think it's ironic, Lamont said. The Republicans are against corruption when it involves a Democrat, and they are silent when it's on the other side of the aisle. What do you say when you hear that?
I say he's right.
Thank you. That's it. And everyone
Now,
who is
one more
question
real quick before I got to go.
Yeah.
Whoever investigated this, whether it was the Lamont campaign or the current mayor of New Britain, I'd like to know first who came up with this investigation and who paid for it. If it was Lamont, are our tax dollars paying for his investigation?
That's a good question.
Or if it's the mayor, is New Britain's tax dollars paying for that investigation?
Absolutely a great question. And Bobby Garcia's response to this is that he is trying to weed out corruption. Now, in doing so, does he have an axe to grind? Possibly so. And this is, again, this is party politics. But again, don't leave breadcrumbs. Yes?
Right. Follow the money. Where's the money?
Yeah.
Who paid for it?
Exactly. Good call. Thank you, Mark. Let me go to Sam is in Waterbury. Sammy V, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Reese, how you doing today?
Hey, not Sammy V. My bad. What's up, Sam?
I'm doing okay.
What's up?
Actually, I've got an affliction.
An affliction?
I am suffering from politician...
derangement syndrome?
Well, no, not derangement, but fatigue. You know, I love Connecticut, and I'm just sick and tired of all the stuff that's going on. You know, Erin Stewart's biggest line is, you know, we got to cut the BS.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm going to keep this rated G.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of things that I've heard of when I was a kid. It's higher education. BS, MS, and PhD. Old stuff. More stuff, pile it higher and deeper.
It's a good way to put it. I can incorporate that into my vocabulary.
Oh, please do. You know, it's just absolutely become nothing but crap.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sick and tired of it. You know, you got to back up your words or just shut up and get out of the way.
Yeah, indeed. Exactly. And this has got to be more about, because look, I'll look at the argument that says, you know, all right, this is about winning. Okay. And if it's about winning, it's almost like if we have a bad quarterback who's got a limp or he's got broken ribs or, you know, he's not throwing the ball the way he used to. Is he's thrown it 100 times and his arm is tired? Is he staying in the game because he wants to win and be the hero, or is he trying to win as a team sport? And I got to say, hey, we got to pull out the quarterback now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if you're trying to win as a team sport, you can't do it if you're the one bringing people down.
Exactly. If you're throwing the interceptions, 100% right.
I also thought of something else you might want to look out for.
What's that, sir?
This lady in the story about the high schooler in New York.
Oh, the 30-year-old woman who is pretending to be 16?
This may be the story that keeps on giving.
Really?
Well, what happens if, you know, while she's pretending to be a teenager, she's dated another student?
Oh, yes, that's a good point.
Or...
Well, I don't think she was there long enough. She was only there, I think she enrolled April 13th. So we're looking at just under a month.
Okay.
So, but you're right. We don't know exactly how much damage she may have done within that time.
And what if she dated a teacher?
That might be. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too. Daryl is in Hartford. Hello, Daryl.
Hey, Reese. How's it going?
I'm good, sir. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment about 1987. I just want to say that I think the 80s was the best era of music.
Agreed.
If you think about it, you had the reemergence of the saxophone in music in the 80s.
That's right.
You had a lot of artists who hadn't had hits in a long time reemerge in the 80s. You know, people like Roy Orbison.
That's right.
And if you think about it, the synth music became popular, and the synth and music in itself became popular in music. And now it's, you know.
Well, let's talk about the most important part of the 1980s. It was one of, which is probably not since 1992. I think it almost expanded to 1992, but the 80s incorporated so many different styles, genres, and races in popular music.
The next thing I was going to say, all genres became popular at that period. All genres were acceptable.
Exactly. I mean, even Weird Al was a staple as a part of it, and he mocked all types of music within that framework. It's like you could like Michael Jackson and Madonna. You could like Kraftwerk as much as you like Bruce Springsteen. You know, the fact that you can blend, which in many ways in the 1980s were too far afield groups. You had the existence of Run DMC and Aerosmith, which in essence saved Aerosmith's career when you blended
the crossover.
Yeah, the crossover rock and rap thing. We were able to do that in the 80s. It was one of the most experimental times in music ever known to man.
Yeah, and look at the music video. You know how that became interesting, and that was avant-garde, artsy.
That's right.
I don't know if you remember this. VH1 had Behind the Music, and they actually did an episode just on the year 1984 because they thought that was like the biggest year of the 1980s. 1984, and then they talk about all the reasons for that, Prince and Bruce Springsteen and so on and so forth, Michael Jackson. But my favorite band, I just want to let you know, is Duran Duran.
Really?
And they just got into the Hall of Fame only a few years ago. They should have been in long before then.
You know what? Is because they were not considered. They were kind of that era of the MTV music thing was so niche. They thought it really did not. They didn't think it was really a part of what they considered serious music. Just like Bon Jovi, they thought that Hair band, Poison, and all those groups those things were not real music. They were just poppy and for the kids. It was popcorn stuff.
They said that Nile Rodgers. I don't know if you know who Nile Rodgers is.
Of course I do. From Chic.
As a great producer and one of the greatest. He said two things were working not in Duran Duran's favor. One was their image. They thought it was image over the substance. And then second, they had way too many female fans.
Yes, that's exactly right. Do you know who actually, you want to know why I think Nile Rodgers, although Quincy Jones gets hands down probably one of the greatest producers ever, but I think that the unsung hero is Nile Rodgers. Like he gets his respect, but I think that he changed so many guys' sound at a time when they needed something different. I'll give you a perfect example. You said that a lot of musicians reemerged in the 80s. David Bowie. That's right. Did he give David Bowie groove or not? Because David Bowie's next dance, Let's Dance in 1983 was a sound of David Bowie only the people who introduced, I didn't know who David Bowie was until I saw Let's Dance. And I listened to his earlier stuff and I go, that's not the same guy. That's not even the same sound.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, but what was interesting about that album is it was the biggest album he ever had.
Indeed.
Some of the biggest hits he ever had.
That's right.
And unfortunately, I think it was so big and it was so out of his lane that later on he kind of resisted doing some of those songs because it was so kind of different than what he was normally doing.
Exactly. It was such a departure from the sound he wanted to portray himself as, and David Bowie kind of thought that he had phoned it in, that it was more production heavy than it was his own creation, because he was a very eccentric sort of musician. His sound was great. Don't get me wrong, I love all the old David Bowie stuff, but it took Let's Dance for me to be introduced to Ziggy Stardust in the first place. You know what I mean? Because it would have never worked the other way around because I was too young.
And Nile Rodgers, two other things about Nile Rodgers. One, part of the reason why he was so successful is because he himself was a great musician. He was part of the great band Chic.
Yeah.
And then second, he's still producing songs. He just produced a Duran Duran song. You might want to check it out. What the heck is it called? Something about dancing or Love to Dance or something like that. And remember a few years ago he won, I think, an Emmy with Daft Punk.
Yes, well, he's got the song with Daft Punk and Pharrell Williams. She's Up All Night or whatever that song is. Yeah. I mean, which is such a Nile Rodgers record. I identified immediately when I heard the sound. I knew it was Nile Rodgers as soon as I heard the sound. I said, yeah, that's Nile. I knew it wasn't Pharrell because it sounded nothing like his music. I got to let you go, Daryl. Thank you so much, buddy.
You got it.
You got it. All right, Stevie V, you got 1 minute. What do you got for me, boss?
Well, listen, 1979, you had old-time rock and roll. Michael Jackson was just pretty much starting to come out, his return.
Yeah, that was the off-the-wall era.
A lot of songs that were real power tunes. You had Rapper's Delight. Ring My Bell, YMCA. I mean, songs that Hot Stuff like Donna Summers, Bad Girls, The Freak.
Would you argue? So you would argue that 1983 was the best music, was the best year ever?
I wouldn't say. I mean, I don't really pick a year, but I mean, if you look at all the power tunes that came out in 1979,
without a doubt, it was listen, end of the decade is always fantastic because those people are like they're trying to define that decade, and the music was always better that year. Got to go, Stevie B, man.
You remember Boogie Wonderland and Devil Went Down to Georgia, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, man.
How about it? Bye.
You got it. All right, got to get up out of here. Tomorrow we'll talk about the Virginia and the redistricting and a whole bunch of other stuff if there isn't more news about this. Well, as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. on Tuesday.